Hey guys, welcome. This is probably the first video you will watch in this activation that Logística Creativa and I have for you. It's no longer just this uncertain times that we want to avoid the leisureness. We want to impulse you, we want to give you every ability to build up a higher confidence in the kitchen so that whether you're at home, stuck, quarantined, whatever, you have more tools to be more creative. Sometimes we think creativeness comes from like having just all the ingredients and seeing everything, and it's not about that, but it is about techniques. So I'm going to show you and give you some tips that help me around in the kitchen, and hopefully it can serve you as well. And with them you can make 3 ingredients taste beautifully, or you can organize yourself better and just become a better cook. I want to get you started with organization, mise en place, which means everything in its place, and it just means that plan out whatever it is you're gonna do, whether it is simple like scrambled eggs or quesadillas or anything you want to make, as simple or as difficult. They're all a bunch of small things done properly and in time. So I'll advise you to get a board with some damp and wet underneath, a cloth with all your tools. I usually just use a spoon, slot it or not, but a spoon, paring knife, and a chef's knife, and a steel, honing steel. This doesn't sharpen anything, it just keeps our blade tight and like straight, and a peeler. These are like $2 each, and they're wonderful. I also keep various size of bowls and little compartments that I can put whatever it is that I'm working with aside. We never want anything on our board that we aren't chopping. If it's on a board, you're chopping it. If you're not chopping it, then it's not on your board. I have a few things here, ginger and an onion, to show you basic like knife skills or just knife safety, if you will. That's it with the mise en place, with the organization. Try to do the most complicated things or the things that take the most time first, and then you'll finish your labor with picking the parsley or picking the leaves or like dressing your salads for your dinner party or Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is that you're doing. Whatever recipe, you know, any cookbook can tell you like start this first, and like, or not, they'll just give you times of each component, and you'll be like, oh, if this takes 60 minutes, I'm gonna have to do it first. Because the things that take 30, I can do it, you know, as long as that. When that's in the oven, I can start doing something else. A trash can or anything that can help you like quickly get things out of the way before taking this into the actual bin or trash can. Start getting organized. Put everything that belongs to one dish or one preparation in separate trays or bowls or like plates that can help you like visualize. Okay, that's things for the pasta, then that's the things for the sauce, and that's the thing for the salad or whatever. Okay, it's very simple. If you pay attention to these types of things, you will lose less time. You're always kind of like wasting little bits and pieces of time when you're cooking in the kitchen. It's better to take 5 at the beginning and write it down and like plan it, than to be like walking around and be like, what is this? You at the end, if you time yourself, I bet that you will waste more time stopping and like you know, jamming yourself all along the way. It's that. Also wanted to tell you about defrosting things. Do it ahead of time. Pass them from freezer to fridge overnight. That's the simplest, most safe way, because they go from like minus, I do it in Celsius, but minus like 22, minus 14, minus 12, whatever, to no less than 4 degrees. You don't ever want to put something in between like 5, 6 Celsius to 65, 66. I don't remember what's the actual danger zone of temperature for bacteria to grow, but that's sort of it. Never defrost or thaw out things under the running tap water, just because you waste a lot of water. And if you do manage to like get some water onto something for it to thaw faster, make it cold, never hot water. You'll end up with like poached exterior, which is, it just turns to not a very nice product at the end product. Or knife skills. It's very simple. It's your knife has a blade, and it has a zone, like a place to grab it. I'm not gonna call it anything because there's several names and there's several shapes of like the handle of your knife. This is a very Western handle, and I like this knife because it's heavy, but it's also very narrow, so I can like move it around. And it's a chef's knife. It's a all-purpose knife. And then there's many other types of knife. A paring knife will come in handy for almost everything else. I would usually just have these two and like one in between, longer, just slice or to like cut through fish. The grabbing of a knife, you can see that you're usually long knives, you know. This one you cannot go wrong. Even with this, you never want to grab it like from here. You want to grab it like this. Like sometimes even like you're grabbing more like the blade from up top, depending on what you're doing with it. So you can have more control. So the closer you are to the blade, the more control you have. So I usually grab it like this and put this two fingers like here in the heel for more accuracy, or even here, you know. I've used it like this to like slice with more precision, to like move it around. This at the end is gonna be an extension of your hand, so be careful with it. Keep it super sharp. Sharp knives cause less accidents than dull knives. Dull knives are the worst. I'm gonna teach you basics on handling your stuff. Always fingers in, tucked in, your thumb always tucked in. Anyone will teach you to chop like this, but practice with onions because they're cheap to buy, and you can make sous vide, onion soup, puree, whatever. You can just boil them in water and they taste nice, you know. So I'm gonna teach you to chop it different ways. I'm gonna teach you to do cube or brunoise, and then I'm gonna teach you to do feathered, sort of julienne type of onion chopping. So I'm gonna take out the center of the onion. I'm gonna take out this main brain, and with this I'm gonna make julienne, and with this I'm gonna coarsely chop it. So when you see from the side that, again, nothing that I'm not cutting on my board, I'm gonna stand. Your stance when you're chopping, if you stand like this, it means that your knife is like this, but you always want to have the knife straight. So if I'm chopping like this, my knife is not gonna be straight. My knife's gonna be like this. Okay, I usually do it this way. So like diagonal to me, and I go slicing through, but not all the way through. I kind of stop at the very end. It's all like holding on from this end that I haven't completely sliced. Again, you never want to, like, whatever movement you make, your blade is never against you. You're not butchering something and I'm here like with my knife because I can like pull it and like hit me. So if I'm doing this, my hand is over the knife. I'm not holding it like this, I'm holding it like this. So I can slice like this. And even if I had put too much like force and I would go like that, I wouldn't like chop up or like sink it into my hand. Okay, now we've done like a few crevices in there. Last thing to do is just start chopping. And this is very rough, but you can sort of guess how it goes from there. I'm not gonna throw this away, I'm just like getting it out of the way because it's not chopped. And with this method, you usually end up with a little bit extra stuff. So there it goes. I usually have a bench scraper. I don't have one at the moment to do this. It's also not a bit dangerous. Then again, a knife like this, I cut this in half. It's just like the last surface of the onion. I'm just gonna grab it and go a bit faster. I'm gonna press it down and go a bit like, I guess just faster. Do it enough time so that it comes natural. Again, hand like this against my knuckle, and even I can start like this. You can practice on thin air. You don't need to put too much pressure either. You don't need to move your knife like this. Knife is always straight, and this keeps it straight, as straight as possible. You can put like your whole hand like this, but it's usually your finger because this is the longest one. And then just go like this. Easy, easy, easy. And then your hand just, this finger walks it like, this finger just like, it does this, you know? It walks your hand backwards. And that's it. Don't be scared because you're gonna feel your knife going like very close to your fingertips, but it's never gonna hit it. If you have good technique, it's never gonna hit it, and you're gonna end up with like nice onion choppings, or like if that had been a carrot or if that had been an aubergine, it's the same principle. You want to do this, take your time. You're not in a professional kitchen, no one's timing you, so you're good.